The following program is a Nighthawk Network presentation. The following program is a Nighthawk Network presentation.
Hey, what's going on, good people? It's your boy E-Buck in the building. It's Wednesday. Y'all know what time it is. It's time for that show that we call the Guru Sports Session. And of course, as always, good friends, we cannot do the Guru Sports Session without that one very key ingredient we call the Sports Guru. We also call him my brother Hugh Lee. What's going on, Hugh?
What's going on, E-Man? How everything going?
Well, you know, it's Wednesday. We hanging in there. I'm ready to talk this sports, though, so let's get it in.
I wanted to ask you first and foremost about the WBC, the championship game. Was you like in awe about it, or was you like, okay, man, let's get on to the regular season? Because honestly, that's how I feel yesterday, man. It's like, okay, that's cool. We didn't win. I definitely felt like when Venezuela beat Japan, I said, okay, they're a little better than what was advertised, but I wasn't really too as concerned about it because when you look at it again, it's for bragging rights, but most of the players are scattered around on these teams. It was cool to lay us over for baseball, but I'm definitely ready for the season now, in my opinion.
You know, as a baseball fan, I like the tournament for what it was, but I wasn't sitting here thinking like, "Oh, we got to win this thing to legitimize us as a baseball powerhouse." I mean, and we know where baseball was invented and all that, but I felt it was good for what it brought to the fandom of the game outside of the United States. I mean, it kind of mean a little something for Venezuela, a little bit more than it would have for them winning last night because of obviously what went on with their country earlier this year and whatnot. Politics, not trying to get deep into it, but it did play a small part in that last night and how excited they was to win. But long story short, yeah, I'm just ready for the regular season now. Particularly, we got one of those teams that's a good team. So our main thing was if we got people in this thing, we just want them to do their thing and don't get hurt and come on back home. So that's what it was.
What was cool to me about the whole event too was the fact, like you said, it wasn't even an event. It was just that you see the Tigers doing the nooks and crannies of the necessary part of the season because at first we just was getting our tails whooped in preseason, man. But now you start to see that we have a team that's not probably as bad as I thought that they was going to be. And I'm looking forward to it because not only is the team decent, but we got some really good pitching, man. We got Terry School for another year at least, and then Justin Verlander came back. So yeah, man, I'm definitely excited to see what happened with the season, man. But I know too that it's just right around the corner too, man. What is it, the 25th? So
Yeah.
yeah, I'm forward to that just as much as I'm looking forward to the March Madness as well. But before we get into all that, man, today I just so happened to look up on my phone and I looked and I said, oh, okay, the deadline was met before it was to the point where it started getting a little too close to the season, which it was teetering on the season this year. But how do you feel about what happened with the WNBA and the WNBA PA when it came to them settling and making the deal now for the season?
I mean, unfortunately, in these talks with most of the leagues, it usually work out to where in the end the real winners are the owners because you got to remember, they are the ones with the big bucks. They are the ones that call the real shots with all the people involved on the in between. You know, they negotiate things between the Players Association and the Owners Association, what have you. But in the end, it's the owners that either say, "Yeah, we could work with that," or like, "No, y'all ain't getting all that." So in the end, WNBA players will make more money next year than they ever have. So for that, it's a win. They will have better benefits than they ever had. Also a win. Did they get what they truly deserve? Did they get paid like they asked? No, no. Because remember, right now we got people in the NBA and G leagues making more money than the top players in the WNBA. That ain't to me.
What would you say? Because when I seen the details, basically the details of the deal, basically to break it all down, new salary cap started at 7 million, up from 1.5 million. What I would have liked to seen was like at least when it came to some of these ladies, what I was visualizing a Supermax deal being at least $7 million for one of the better players. Mid-tier player like maybe for between that 4 or 5 million, and then just the regular players, at the least the third tier 3 million, and then you have like the ones who are just average players from 1.5 million. That's what I wanted to see, like some of the better players get a little bit more higher pay, because like you said, they're not gonna get NBA money. We know this. But at the same time, I feel like some of the top tier players should at least make closer to 7 million. And some of the players should have got accommodated in that way, because when I seen it, I was like, okay, who's going to make what now? And that was my biggest concern.
Okay, when you look at it, it's less than 200 players in the WNBA right now. Okay.
Absolutely.
Every team has 12 players. Okay. I think they may have actually made it 14 now. Even still, that still put us at less than 200 players between all the teams, right? If the salary cap is 7 million, as they said, think about it. Supermax, I believe, is like 1.5 million a season.
That is. I didn't like that.
Let's talk about the champs for a minute. Las Vegas Aces. You got Angel Wilson, arguably the best player in the league. She obviously got to get the Supermax, okay? Then, of course, you got the MVP of the rival league, Chelsea Gray, on that same squad. In the ideal world, she probably should get the Supermax as well. That's 3 million. Now you got 4 million left to pay the rest of that team. And remember, Jackie Young on that team. You can't just give Jackie Young the crumbs. She damn near a Supermax player in her own right.
Absolutely.
Let's take an argument. You get her 1 million. That's 4 million. You still got 9 or 10 other players to pay 3 million. Did we really resolve the issue?
Not at all. That's what I was saying. I don't think it is resolved like it could be.
Right. Now, understand, 20 of those 200 players are players like a Angel Reese, like a Caitlin Clark, like a Asia Wilson. And they not press because obviously when you talk about their endorsement deals, they weigh way more money than they salary would ever cover. Okay. Just Angel Reese alone. Let's talk that just for a second. We got Angel Reese doing a podcast that makes money, that gets endorsements from the podcast. You got her doing the Reebok deal and getting a chunk of the company's profits on top of that. I love Michael Jordan back in the day, stock options, all that. You got her as an owner of a team that makes money from the revenue of selling the jerseys and whatnot. You got her working for Victoria's Secret. Who knows how much money she's getting from that?
Pretty good money.
Her other little projects that she pops into. She's supposed to be doing a movie. She's supposed to be in a video with Sexy Red, etc., etc., etc. So her money covers everything else, but her salary still probably not going to be no more than a couple $100,000. And she is generally one of the top 20 players in the league right now. It still don't, in the end, they win because they get to play this year, but they ain't really win.
Not at all, man. The one other thing I seen too was the average revenue share nearly 20% across the deal. I definitely saw that part of it.
Instead of 50-50. But remember, all that stuff ties into the NBA stuff. I do believe the television deals is not like a separate television deal per se. for the WNBA and the NBA. I think all that ties in together to revenue. But remember, they get billions of dollars just from the television rights. Am I sitting here saying, well, you don't expect them to make what NBA players make, do you? No, I ain't that stupid.
No,
but I expect them to make at least double what they trying to pay them. Yeah, especially since a lot of places are still in the building. Hell, remember the Indiana Fever. Shout out to Caitlin Clark that really got this ball rolling for real, for real. They had more sellouts at home than their male counterparts, the Pacers, okay? And remember, the Pacers went to the finals last year.
Even with Tyrese Halliburton, the funny thing is now without him, you know they really go make money as far as the Indiana Fever. And like you say, man, I want to know too, because this is things we go talk about too, as far as expansions and stuff. But yeah, man, what I seen too is like the average range salaries is still $600K and $300K, so it's not really still enough. Like you said, did they even really get a win? The only win is, you know, it's for the fans to be able to go ahead and see the game still. But, you know, I just don't really feel like that it was a better deal than what we thought that it'd be, man. Right, especially with the Unrivaled League.
It's going to be interesting because, again, remember in the initial deal, they wanted them to get rid of Unrivaled League. That was part of what they put on the table. And it was like, screw y'all. We get paid in Unrivaled League. That is messed up. So, yes, there will be another Unrivaled League. There will be more teams next year. And guess what? Because Unrivaled made a profit again this year, they're going to make even more money than Unrivaled. Not to mention the money that they're paying the college athletes that's sponsoring Unrivaled League, like the AZ Fuzz and the Juju Watkins of the world. And then also remember, they plan on having more teams, and they plan on having more of the events like they did this year, where they have one night in Philly or one night in where's the other place they went? I don't remember, but they sold both of those places out. So I imagine they've been talking about Houston, they've been talking about LA, so on and so forth. Yeah, Unrivaled gonna make money. And then there's always still that X factor, because they still starting that other Plan B league too.
Yes.
And I imagine some of the players who play that Plan B league ain't gonna play in the W at all.
And the crazy thing about this whole ordeal is I just love the Unrivaled and the vibe it has, because you so used to being on one team, but when you be on teams with people you're friends with and you're real cool with, and those teams are selected by the women themselves, it just seems fun, man. It seems like the competition is there. They better definitely continue that push, man, as far as the WNBA, man, because I feel like the product is great, man, especially where I came from, man, because I came from just starting to really watch it, because I wasn't really watching it like I did at first, or like how when you first started. I was watching when it was already in the finals, and if I'm not mistaken, that finals was New York and the Las Vegas Aces, which that's when I first saw it, and I like how it reminded me of the old school way of playing basketball. Yeah, they can't dunk and do all the reverse and all that crazy stuff, but the fundamentals are there, and that's what I liked about the WNBA, the discipline, the fundamentals, and just the way they executed the game. But yeah, man, definitely can't wait for them to come back on, man, because there's going to be a lot of good stuff by that time too. But I feel like it was a bittersweet situation, because I felt like, did they all win in the end? The fans did, but I feel like the ladies should have got a little better, man. And I just wish that they can continue to move in the right direction as far as that product too.
Right. Now remember, the next deal, I think this deal takes them up to 2029, I want to say, or 2028. Yes. At that point, all the expansion teams will be in the league at that point. So the question then becomes, what does the revenues look like at that point, particularly when you're going into cities like Philadelphia and Detroit, where I think WNBA going to do very well in those two cities in particular. We'll have to wait to see where we at with it. I mean, by that time, Juju Watkins and all of them should be in the league as well. So that should also add something to it. So we'll see.
It's about to be interesting too, man, because that expansion draft take place between April the 1st and 6th. And then we turn around after that free agency period, man, with over 100 players from April the 7th to the 18th. it's about to get sparked up, man. And then, you know, we had a draft coming up on the 13th of April. So April's going to be a pretty busy season, man, for WNBA. And they should be definitely blessed right now that they struck this deal because there's a lot of stuff going on. And then we know the 19th, that's when the camps start back. And then regular season will be here before you know it, man, on May the 8th, man. So I'm definitely looking forward to what they had to offer. Now they finally got everything together for the season, and I'm just wishing the ladies well, but feel like I really wish that they got better, man, out of that deal. And that's what I wanted to talk to you about earlier, but I know we both were doing a lot of ripping and running earlier.
Absolutely. But yeah, you know, I'm always looking forward to the WNBA season. You know, I've been a fan since day one. So, you know, I'm liking the continued growth and improvement of the league. It's
absolutely
because some of us have the mindset that we do, that no matter what the ladies do, some of y'all just refuse to add as a viable sports option.
That's what bothers me. You know, people always throwing jabs at the company.
Right.
And you know, E-Man, at first, it didn't bother me at first. It really bothers me now as I got more involved in the game. And I just don't feel like people give it a chance, man. And they're stuck in their ways when it comes to the actual WNBA. But it's really a good product, man. I enjoy it, man, because when you see some of these women outside of the court, like when they show them in their regular street clothes, I look at a lot of them like, man, they don't even look like they play basketball. But when they get on that floor, man, like a Lexi Hall or somebody, you see how physical she is, man. That little lady looked like a school teacher. But when you see her play, man, remember last year she had 2 black eyes, man, and she was still playing. So those some tough women, man, and they're real physical. And I definitely enjoy that about them too, because if you're a rookie thinking you're gonna come in and run things, man, they usually would let you know it's different from college, man, and it's a physical sport, man.
Absolutely.
You want to move on? I want to talk about a couple things that happened in the NFL too, man. How did you feel about the Jalen Waddle trade to the Denver Broncos? I thought it was good and beneficiary for both teams because we know that right now that the Miami Dolphins is in a full rebuild. Let's be honest. I'm surprised. And I was hearing they're taking talks on Devon Achane, and then I heard they kind of backtracking and they're backpedaling about this now because they're saying they don't want to touch him right now and they want to move forward with the team they have. But I was saying, hey, wait a minute, y'all said that with Jalen Waddle like a couple of weeks ago that y'all didn't want to touch him and Devon Achane, and now Jalen Waddle's gone. So yeah, I definitely still feel like Devon Achane to be up for grabs. But did you like what you see on that deal? Because I feel like I was saying, it's beneficial for both.
I think at this point, as far as Miami goes, they kind of on their $1 million man situation. Shout out to young Ted DiBiase. You know, the motto was everybody has a price. And I think when it comes to Miami, everybody do got a price. So even though they're saying now they're not so likely to move nobody else major like a HN, I think if they come up with the right amount of picks or the right amount of cross-rich, they would go ahead and make that move as well. It's unfortunate for 2 reasons. One, you got the young quarterback that spent all his time learning his crap over there in Green Bay.
Yes, Malik Willis.
Exactly. And now they done brought him on in Miami, paid him money as if to say, okay, yeah, we're going to see what you got for these couple years and whatnot. But here's the problem, Malik. Yeah, these people we got to have you with, it ain't going to be a lot of talent for you to work with early on. You're going to have a lot of new kids, and, you know, you might get your boy Tyreek Hill back. You may not. He may be 100%. He may not be. But, you know, this is what you got to work with. So prove yourself the best way you can. All right, buddy? And that's kind of not fair to him, truthfully. But in the same token, Miami's looking at it realistically now. They're in a division. They're not winning that division. They're not even finishing second in that division. When you got New England and Buffalo in that division with you, it ain't happening. Are you better than the Jets? Probably so, but not by much. Depending on what the Jets do, you may be right there with each other. So, yeah, go ahead, get the rebuild in full effect, and go from there. As far as Denver goes, could this be the move that puts them right over the top? I don't know, but it got to put them somewhere in the conversation at least.
Definitely.
Think about it. They almost made it to the Super Bowl last year with what they had. I honestly feel like if that game had not had the crazy weather that it did that fateful day, I think they may have won that game in Denver and went to the Super Bowl. Do I think they would have beat the team that won the Super Bowl? No, I do not. I do not. But I think they probably would have gave him a little tougher game than New England did.
Definitely because of that defense, man. And I believe at one point when you seen that game, the defense was going neck and neck with Denver. But the problem was you could tell if you're on this football field as long as they was, you eventually will get gassed. I just feel like with Denver and that powerhouse defense they had, man, and the player and the personnel, you add a Bo Nix in there. But at the same time, even I felt like Jarrett Stidham, I don't think people give him a lot of credit, man. That guy is not a bad player when he's healthy and when he have a few games and when he play and throw a few reps. So, yeah, I definitely am looking at this right now and feeling like with Jalen Waddle, that's a really good deal for them. But at the same time, like you said, Jeff Hafley and that whole, Miami organization is just looking at it like, man, let's start, from scratch and let's get the players that we want to hear because they got a lot of dead money, 175 million, and it's like a whole bunch of players that I even forgot was on that team is still getting paid. It ain't as much as you think it would be, but players like Zach, Wilson still, I think, getting paid 1.5 million from them, and then the Jonnu Smiths and guys of that nature. So yeah, it was time for them to clean that up because I say within a year or so they're going to be in that New England conversation where you have enough cap space. What are you going to do with it?
Absolutely. And in the end, remember what people don't realize is that not New England, but the Denver Broncos defense had the most sacks of any team since the great Bears defense in '85. Okay. So, yeah, I know they don't have the catchy names of people like for you to have when you get talking about, yeah, you need this defensive man and this defensive man, and we do this. All they had was just a defensive line that was consistent. He had 9, he had 5, he had 7, and they put it all together, and they had a damn good defense.
Yeah, and I like that defense, man. And Van Joseph, I don't think he get a lot of credit where credit is due, man, because after that time, they had that really bad game like a couple of years ago, man, in Denver, man. They've been just automatic ever since, man. And the deal, of course, if you know, basically Denver received Waddle and a 4th round pick, and then Miami received the 1st round pick, the 30th overall, and then they got a late 3rd and a 4th round pick. But still, man, they got a lot of picks though, man. And then
I do believe they had the most picks of anybody right now.
Absolutely. So I feel like right now they're bulking up to get that future for that franchise. But it's kind of sad to say too, because you've seen how good they were, man. But then I just feel like once they got rid of the general manager and they got rid of the head coach, Mike McDaniels, we already knew this is what was going to happen.
True.
All right, E-Man, the Philadelphia Eagles right now, they're holding off on that A.J. Brown trade, and then they feel like right now they're not going to even really, talk about the trade right now with New England and the Los Angeles Rams, trade talks, and they continued. But I think that it will resume as far as when the salary cap space relief on June the 1st come around, man. Do you think by that time, because what I was hearing was, and I kind of was looking online, they were saying that A.J. Brown, after everything that's going on and what transpired about his name being in trade talks and everything, that he would rather prefer not to be on the Philadelphia Eagles, and he just would rather be traded to another team.
I don't know why this is such a mystery and whatnot. That man ain't been happy there damn near the whole time, okay? I think in his mind, he got sold a bag of nickels. And once he got over there and seen that who he thought was his good buddy, Jalen Hurts, wasn't really rocking with him like that, and he was more corporate than he was, okay, it's me and you against the world, he thought he was going to get a deal similar to how Matthew Stafford and the great Megatron used to deal. They're like, yeah, when all else fails, I'm throwing it to you no matter what. It ain't that. It ain't that. And that system ain't that. So that's what he's looking for, because in the end, I don't think he's satisfied with just having a ring. Okay, I'm going to have to let you take over. I got to take this call, my friend.
What's cool about that whole ordeal, too, is what I'm seeing is when you see this, I'm just still curious to see what's going to happen due to the fact that I know my man's AJ Brown is having a turmoil with the team and he's trying to figure out what he's going to do. But then Hollywood Brown's over there now, and I think he's on the deal, a 1 year deal for 6.5 million. And I feel like right now, is that the answer over there? I believe that's a slight cushion, when he's healthy, but when he's not healthy, how is he going to execute and play when it comes to that team? That's the big concern for me is I don't really think that he'll be able to hold the weight of an AJ Brown, a high caliber receiver of his magnitude. But when you look at it too, I still look and feel like the two teams that are involved, it really doesn't make sense to me that the Los Angeles Rams will be as aggressive when they have Davante Adams. But then I was hearing rumors mumbling around not so long ago, too, that Jay Brown at the time was being talked about in a trade talk where they was going to try to give Davante Adams to the Philadelphia Eagles and AJ Brown go over to the Los Angeles Rams in that package deal, which would have been a hell of a deal. But right now, it's like, the salary cap hit. You still have Davante Adams going to be making $24 million. And then you still have to at least consider, too, with Puka Nacua, because when you look at AJ Brown, he's going to probably want to get, an extension on his pay right now as far as what type of salary cap do the Los Angeles Rams have. And then on the other hand, you still have to pay Puka Nacua his money. And he's going to average annually 29, maybe 30 million at this point. And, I know Los Angeles Rams don't want to lose that man. So they just got to be wise about how they do things, effective if they're trying to do a trade right now. And a lot of things has been coming up, too. I've been looking at and I see a whole lot of rumors. And you still had the two dark horse teams out there that I'm interested in. Are they going to make any moves? Because, yes, we hear about New England. And, yes, we hear about the Los Angeles Rams in the pursuit of A.J. Brown. But then you still have a situation on hand where I want to see what's going to happen because you still have the Los Angeles Chargers team who's looking for that dynamic number one wide receiver overall. And they're still looking in on him and taking calls and trying to see what's going on with the trade. And the dark horse of all this right now was crazy to me is hearing the Kansas City Chiefs names. But the whole Trent McDuffie situation when they traded him and then they ended up getting one of the best running backs in the game over there on their team, and Kenneth Walker III. And now I still feel like they're not satisfied. When will Patrick Mahomes be back? I'm not sure if he will be back this year. But then that right now I just feel like this is the last curtain call for that team. I still look at it right now like Andy Reid, Travis Kelce, Patrick Mahomes, and the whole staff, Steve Spagnuolo, they want to try to at least give one last run as well for what it's worth. So, yes, I've been hearing rumors about A.J. Brown and, talks of him being over there or just really talks in general on what can they do to try to lure him in over in Kansas City, too, because that team's trying to go all in. And another interesting thing, not only is it the Kansas City Chiefs trying to get that man over there, but then I've been hearing rumors, and when I hear rumors, a lot of times, man, it's like 90%, at least 85 to 90% accurate. I was even hearing mumblings about they're trying to, if they couldn't go after A.J. Brown, the Kansas City Chiefs are interested in Trent Williams right now. Did you hear about that news?
Yeah, basically, I heard that from you. Again, good people, if you are looking to get the advantage, the heads up on what the news is coming through, you are to go to the Sports Guru to You page where Hugh is constantly upgrading the product and the information over there for you to peruse. You will usually find out stuff before it actually comes out because he has the network of stuff that he is getting from other sources that he gets the news a little bit earlier or sooner. He's basically told you about that quite often these last few weeks. That, I knew this before everybody else knew it because, I can verify that he definitely did. And in terms of what Kansas City is doing to bolster up that line, that is a very key thing for them to do. What happened with Patrick Mahomes last year, and he was scrambling for his life. That is why I felt like, unlike the year before where they finished 15-2, a lot of those games that they barely won that year, they did not win last year because the offensive line was spooky. So if they can basically bolster that up compared to last year, and then also considering what they added in the running game and also how they're working things out with the offense with Eric Bieniemy being back, I definitely think that plays to their advantage. As far as AJ Brown goes, going back to that, sorry, sometimes life be life in y'all. But I definitely say at this point, the Eagles need to get him gone before the season starts. I say they need to get him gone, truthfully, before June 1st even get here. And the ideal word, I think what they're waiting on now is make me an offer that's going to wow me, wow the socks off me. Right now, truthfully, they want the same type of deal that Baltimore almost gave up for our good buddy Mad Max, okay? You offer them 2 first-round picks, and I don't think it matters what team it is. You get them the 2 first-round picks for 2026 and 2027 on some F them picks type stuff, I think that gets you A.J. Brown. I don't think you even put those 2 things. And right now, no team is willing to do that. My advice would be, if I am the Patriots, you that close. F them picks, do it. Buffalo, you also that close. F them picks, do it.
And a lot of people don't give credit where credit is due, man. And New England did some sneaky good deals, man. They didn't have to do much.
Well, not to mention, because it's New England and Buffalo, you don't want the other team to get them, do you? You might want to have them picks and get them before the other team did.
Absolutely, because what people was upset about this year, and I noticed people were Patriot fans because, I was a Patriots fan and still, keep tabs on the team. A lot of people were upset because they felt like the Patriots didn't do anything in free agency this year and they tried to give them a bad grade. I said, why would they do anything this year when they spent $192 million and made a legit team? All they have to do is just add bits and pieces now. They still have one of the top, salary cap spaces, but they don't have to go all out like they did last year now. All they have to do is, like you said, if they could acquire and execute the deal with A.J. Brown right now, and focus on getting him and then just having a decent draft. You don't need an A draft, but a decent draft. I still feel like they'd be in a conversation.
Absolutely.
Amen. One more thing before we get off of the NFL too, man. Did you hear now that they're saying that everything is everything over there with the Las Vegas Raiders now? Whatever issues that they have and whatever heat that Max Crosby had with them, he looked at it and felt like it was fate when that deal didn't work out as far as his leg injury, and he went back over there because you could tell at the time too when we talked about that in the past, he didn't seem like he wanted to leave. It was just he was part of a trade deal, and the 2 first overall picks was something that I don't think the teams would have passed up. So when that happened, and now he's back over there because the thing didn't work out, pending, the physical, and he failed that physical. Now he's back. I guess he just, patched up anything that they had or any animosity, because I was hearing he was pissed off with, Tom Brady, his trainer, the Alex Guerrero guy, always being around and just certain things that irritated him. But he said it's all good now, man. He a Raider and he just want to focus on the season. But do you still feel like it's an opportunity for them to still ship him out before, the draft is over with in April?
He ain't going nowhere.
I think he's settled.
Bottom line, if he was healthy, yeah, that still was a discussion and it would have happened already. Because he did not pass the physical. In the minds of most teams that would have thought about doing the trade, straight on that. He's a Raider. At least for this year, he's a Raider.
Okay, and the crazy part is, too, we talked about the Anthony Barr dude, man. He was this close to going to the Jets. He had a change of heart. It wasn't nothing wrong with him. He just wanted to go back to the Vikings, and I think they accommodated him and gave him a little bit more money as far as they topped the Jets deal, like the glasses, brother. And then after that, it was a situation where you remember our boy Elvis Dumervil. A lot of people ain't up on that cat, man. The Denver Broncos defensive end who ended up going to the Baltimore Ravens because of the fact the Broncos had him. The only reason they missed out, I think it was a fax machine, and I think the fax was like a minute slow. Yeah. And by that happened, and it was too little too late, and he ended up getting shipped off to the Baltimore Ravens. Things happen, but it doesn't happen often, but when they do, it's pretty big. That's why we tell you, most of these are just handshakes or gentleman's bet until that day, but sometimes they work out and sometimes they don't.
And keep in mind, we've had a couple of deals in recent years in the NBA that went down, and then the physical happened, and it was like, oh no, this dude ain't healthy. I ain't smurfing with him. And it happens, man. It does. I truly feel like if Dallas wasn't so desperate to get rid of Luka when they did, and did their due diligence with the physical for Anthony Davis, I don't think that deal would have won.
Man,
They had to get something back for giving up the franchise.
That's crazy too, because when you look at that, man, that messed up the Dallas Mavericks team for a while too, because of the fact that now that they found out how bad his injury was and figured, man, it was just a waste of space and a waste of talent on our roster. It wasn't even a year later before they shipped him off to the Washington Wizards, man, where they want him to go and die, basically. His career, that is.
And the whole thing is, he only there until the contract run out. Right now, he's not playing the rest of the year. He just over there playing dress up, basically. It's, kudos to Anthony Davis' agent. Actually, LeBron's good friend. I forgot that actually is his agent. Ain't it?
So, yeah.
He got over.
When is it? Because you already know. I kind of figure, man, if anything, you might have Trae Young over there for another year. So I'd be surprised if Anthony Davis even touched the basketball court in the Washington Wizards jersey, because you already know he said he wasn't happy with the ordeal.
I don't see it happening.
Speaking of basketball, that was a good one, man, to bring us into the next conversation. Of course, we're going to talk to NBA, man. Do you want to do a commercial, or do you want to get into it?
I think we absolutely should do the commercial break. Now, this is the Guru Sports Session. I'm sitting here talking to the Guru. We'll be back to talk some NBA basketball. Words from the Nighthawk Network. Y'all know the motto, good friends. Nighthawk Network, our voices for our people. All right, guys, we are back. This is the Guru Sports Session. E-Buck in the building with my man, Sports Guru Hugh Lee. About to talk that.
I wake up in the morning, I'ma get a bag. Get a bag, yeah, I'ma get a bag. Long as I wake up in the morning, I'ma get a bag. Get a bag, yeah, I'ma get a bag. Long as I wake up in the morning, I'ma get a bag. Get a bag, yeah, I'ma get a bag. Long as I wake up in the morning, I'ma get a bag.
A new podcast is hitting the YouTube and Facebook streets called Speaking Freely with Miss Gigo. If you have listened to the audio version, you are going to like this one. Come join Miss Gigo every Sunday at 10 p.m., where she will be discussing different topics you can give your opinion on. This is your chance to be part of the conversation and share what's really on your mind. Speaking Freely with Miss Gigo, where your voice matters.
This is the story about an African-American woman who is passionate about professional wrestling and goes to countless events. She then, one day, gets the idea to start a wrestling talk podcast to talk about her favorite wrestlers and wrestling programs. She has a home podcasting room full of wrestling memorabilia that she uses to do the show, and every week you can tune in and join in the conversation.
Basketball, let's get into it, brother.
All right, man. We can't do NBA without, giving flowers to our boy, man. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, man. It just flows now when you say it. At first, we had problems saying this dude's name, like Victor Wembanyama. When you that good, we learn your name, damn it. And I feel like for what he's done and his attributes for the NBA is remarkable, man. He did the impossible, man. The impossible 1963 record with Will Chamberlain, where he had 127 games with 20 points. Now he's at 129. The one game when they beat Minnesota 113 or 106, I didn't think that he was going to get the points at first. I said he's not going to make 20 because he had 10 going in the fourth. And then he ended up getting like 11, maybe 12 points and then sat down. It wasn't really still about him. I like the fact that the team was doing well and they focus on, okay, yeah, since he's almost there, let him, get his and then set him out and let the team close out the game. Because the team could have won that game definitely without him, man. But I just like the fact that the guy's on that level right now. 129 games held out the night. He scored 40 against the Charlotte Hornets, which I don't think people give him credit where credit is due. That team has been playing lights out as well. But, they're not going to give them credit because they're an Eastern Conference team. But, yeah, Charlotte's not an easy win, man, nowadays. But, what is your thoughts on what Shai did, man? As far as the Wilt Chamberlain record now he's at 129 and counting.
First of all, it's three people I need to throw in this conversation. One, Wilt Chamberlain. We do not give that brother enough credit for the type of player he was in the NBA. We always throw into the mix like, well, he was the biggest player in the NBA at the time. People couldn't keep on him his side, blah, 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 blah. That man was one of the best athletes to ever walk the face of this earth. Facts. I need y'all to fully understand that. I mean, we talk about his basketball because, of course, he was a basketball player. He was a volleyball player. He was a football player. He played baseball. He ran track.
Active.
He played lacrosse. He was a phenomenal athlete, okay? He acted. He wrestled. He did it all right? And in the NBA, where he has not played in some 40-something years,
his record still stands.
Records on the books to break. You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Just the fact of that it's 30, 40 years later, he still got records that people can break on the books, okay? So, yeah, definitely give him a little bit more credit. Two, yes, that was impressive by Shai Gilgeous Alexander SGA, the 120-plus games and counting of 20-plus points. And this day and age of NBA, you kind of like, well, that was him 3, blah, 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 blah. That's still over a year and a half worth of games, 20-plus points. That means he done made at least 10 to 15 shots every game. That's impressive. But we cannot forget the more impressive record that did not get enough recognition at his time, which was the 10-plus points a game streak that LeBron James had for all those years, okay? I think that ran a good 15, 16 years worth of games where he scored at least 10 points in every game he played. People did not talk about that enough at the time.
I don't think they did either, and they should have. Because I think
that streak was broken recently, they still didn't give it the credit it really deserved.
Yeah. And I believe they won a game too, so it didn't even matter he sat out the rest of the game because that team, I feel like, man, no disrespect to LeBron, man, because we don't really consider he might be back there next year. But with Luka and Austin Reeves and a lot of those guys over there, man, remember when he got hurt too, like with Jake LaRavia and the emergence of some of these guys, I still feel like Showtime, Los Angeles will still be okay.
See, it's crazy because, a lot of people, they'll tell you, I don't like LeBron for whatever reason they like to throw up. In the end, when you look at what he's accomplished in the league, what he has accomplished in life, he went from being the fatherless child of a young lady in Akron to being a billionaire, and the future is still his oyster, okay? That don't get the respect it deserves. Keeping in mind that back in our time, when Michael Jordan, who is still the GOAT in my mind, I have to be honest with that, people did not like him either. Understand, could not stand the Chicago Bulls. Love me some Michael Jordan because he had the one thing that nobody else on that team would ever get from me, my respect. He was the most respected person in the league. Even the other GOATs gave Michael his respect. The Kareem Abdul-Jabbars, the Bill Russells of the world felt like he was that guy. So all that being said, this is a chapter in Shai's book. I think when all is said and done, he might end up being one of the top 20, 25 players of all time, maybe. But no, he will not be a Michael Jordan He would not be a LeBron James. He would not be a Wilt Chamberlain. So, yeah, he definitely is going to play a huge part in the tournament.
And what I like about it too is
freshman.
You don't expect that, man. And like you said, he's a freshman that they wasn't really gushing over like some of these other high caliber players. Arkansas seemed like they're starting to get back in the fold again, man. Because remember how good Arkansas was at one point, man, with Big Vet Nasty and that team and how they were winning championships, man. That's the team we haven't heard from in a while. And now they trying to make their argument. But the SEC has been really tough, man, because at one point we would just focus on the Big Ten and ACC. And now the SEC is really starting to make a household name. And they have been for like the last 3-4 years as of late.
Yeah, but definitely if you look at a lot of the brackets, if you go to see who picked what, a lot of people got going to far in the tournament teams like Michigan State, Michigan, Iowa, Purdue, Illinois. I mean, you got all those teams from the Big Ten in the tournament, Nebraska, so on and so forth. So my thing is, I think this first day, we don't see quite as many upsets. I think day 2 and 3, we see quite a few. Because right now, I did the bracket, and I did like maybe 5 different ones, and every time I came up with a different winner because it's hard to just say, okay, this team definitely got that. You know what I'm saying? I could see Michigan going all the way to the championship game. I could see them losing in the second, third round of playing high play out. Same with a Duke. Same with a Arizona. There is no great team in this men's tournament this year, but it is several good ones. So I'm definitely looking forward to seeing it play out because this looked like one of them years where you'll be like, damn, I never in a million years would have thought this was the Final Four, but I can't wait to see.
And the crazy thing is, usually I make predictions at this point, man, but I ain't making no predictions right now, man. You know, I let my bracket do the talking, and I still only did a few brackets, man. I ain't do as many as I could. You know, today was like a long day for me, man, and I'm a little behind, but yeah, man, I still want to do it like another because I did too, man. I'm gonna do another 5 or 6 brackets before it's said done.
Basically, I'm just going with mainly the 3 I did. I got Michigan winning it all in one. I got Duke winning it all in another one. I think I actually got Arkansas winning in another one. So I'm curious to see if any of those work out.
Don't sleep on Arizona neither, though.
I got them going pretty far in pretty much all them brackets, actually. But in the end, I think it really boils down to how well people recover from that first weekend. If they go into it and they don't have a lot of injuries, or if they have a couple easy games these first couple rounds, those are the teams I like to do well moving forward.
And it was so cold here as of late, man. I wasn't even paying attention to a lot of that stuff, man. And I was just ready for Thursday, man. I wasn't like speeding up the week, even though remember at first, man, I had like a situation, man, where everything was just mixed up with me at one point. But yeah, no, man, I'm really settling in for Thursday, man, and getting ready.
Unfortunately, Hugh, I got a deal going that I can't have you partake in because you don't eat the pork. So definitely the pepperoni pizza will not be to your but yeah, shout out to Mr. Shannon that I ran into today. They definitely come on up to the Cottage Inn and he'll work out a little something with my pizza. So shout out to you, my guy. I definitely will be there to pick it up so I can watch Thursday evening's matchups.
Yeah, I usually go to 7 Star, man, where they, you know, don't deal with the pork, man. You know, they got like the substitutions like the beef and the turkey pepperoni. So yeah, that's usually what I deal with.
Yeah, you know, pepperoni, extra cheese, I'm good every time. That's all I require.
Yeah, it's gonna be a really good tournament this year, though, man. Absolutely. Looking forward to it on both sides too, because you got the men's is gonna be decent because of the young fellas in there, but then the women, man, I believe a veteran play is gonna be really important, and there's not much as the rookies, man. And a lot of people had the Final Four, as said too. You know, of course you're gonna have UConn, UCLA, Texas, and then they saying, you know, South Carolina, but I believe right now the hardest 2 teams that overall that I believe is I would like to see in the championship game. I would like to see a rematch with like a UCLA and a UConn, man, because of the experience and the veteran play they have on their teams.
Now, as you know, people, I made the mistake of picking against my Lady Huskies last year. Honestly, I did not think they was gonna have what it took to beat South Carolina, and they beat the brakes off of them. So I'm sorry I disrespected my UConn Lady Huskies. Needless to say, this year, y'all done seen my post and whatnot. You would be like absolutely flabbergasted if I told you I was not going with UConn. And I'm absolutely going UConn, as is the majority of all the brackets. Not even close. I think last I checked, it was like 82% of all brackets had UConn winning it outright, which makes sense. They are undefeated. They have whooped up on damn near every team they done played, with the exception of a couple squads. They have won by double digits on all their games. So it only makes sense that people are calling this the UConn Invitational 2026. Now, that being said, as I've told you all throughout the year, I think it's 2 or 3 squads that could give UConn a run for their money. So as opposed to what we discussed on the men's side, where I'm not really sure what's going to happen, I would tell you one of these 4 teams, you can almost guarantee it. You can almost bet all your money. One of these 4 teams is winning the national championship on the women's side. One, obviously, UConn, for reasons I've already stated. Bottom line, Sarah Strong is the player of the year. In my mind, it's not even close to me. This Michaela Blakes and Hidalgo and all that. No, it's Sarah. I understand she don't have the points numbers that you would be looking for, but when you understand that she don't play the fourth quarter in most of these games, and it's always some point in the game where Sarah be like, I feel like showing y'all what I could really do right quick. Let me put on my super suit. Yeah, you give me that. You give me that. Let me hit this 3, this 2. Let me go on the post a little bit. Let me drip to my left. Let me pad about 5 or 6. Okay, I'm ready to sit down now. Understand, in this tournament, I think it's going to be a couple games where it'll be like, no, Sarah, you ain't sitting down today, boo. Put the whole super suit on. Show out. Pop them with 40 right quick. I think you're going to see what she could really do. Basically, y'all remember the movie The Last Dragon? I think it's the part of the movie where she's going to put a glow out on their ass on a couple of these games. And if she does that and AZ Fudd just do half of what she could do, I find it real hard for any team in America this year to beat them 2 when both of them is on.
Absolutely.
But the rest of that squad going to put on you, because keep in mind, UConn's defense, it goes with them everywhere. So if you can't get past that trap and that press, you ain't winning jack. 3 teams I think can. UCLA, like you said, senior presence on that squad. 4 to 5 starters, all seniors. All about to be in the WNBA next year. The Kiki Rices, the Sierra Betts, the Jaquez's of the world. They are going to give UConn a run for their money if it is them 2 in the national championship game. Because I don't think they will be intimidated by UConn. I don't think they'll be scared of UConn. And like UConn, they do have a little bit of a bench to work with as well. So, yeah, that's going to be a good matchup if we get that. South Carolina, main reason, 1, they do have a lot of talent on that squad, a lot of bigs, but more importantly, they want revenge. They want revenge. Never underestimate that revenge factor, particularly when you on a Dawn Staley team, because she too wants revenge. Got much respect for him, don't get me wrong, but she definitely wants to get him for how they got them last year. So just on
I wouldn't be surprised neither, because like you say, I still feel like flat out UConn or UCLA possibly might be one of them teams to be the champion. More UConn than anybody else. But then at the same time, I wouldn't underestimate the heart of the champion and the coach, the Dawn Staley, because what she instilled in that team, because we've seen a lot from them too, that the fact that when you have a team that had a Malaysia for a while, man, and she leave, and I'm thinking, okay, is that going to affect anything? No. I feel like the team is actually stronger because of the point guard play was more disciplined and more to her standing and her liking. And it was a lot of leadership with Raven Johnson and a lot of the young ladies over there, and what's her name? Lania Latson, man. They have some strong players over there. And yeah, man, she don't like to lose, man. And I definitely feel like they're gonna have their hearts on their sleeve, man. And they're gonna come in with big hearts and they're gonna try to do what they got to do to try to get them another championship.
Right.
But
And nothing like that matchup that we will see between Joyce Edwards and Sarah Strong. That's going to be worth the price of popcorn right there.
I would definitely like to see that too. A good Final Four with some of those teams,
and
man.
Then, of course, the other team I was going to throw in that mix is Texas. I think what they can do speaks for itself. Bottom line is Madison Booker is a name that don't get thrown out there enough, but she is definitely one of the top 5 players in the country, no doubt about it.
She's one of the better players, man, because people don't give her that credit, man. Don't mean that she's not going to show up every time, too. So, I definitely feel like this is going to be a good year for, basketball, men and women, man. I'm definitely trying to keep my refreshments on deck. I feel like I did a good job at that and just waiting for everything to go down, actually, because I know now all I'm going to do is just relax tomorrow, man, and just try not to do too much. I'm glad I don't got to do anything outside of just, just my regular routine. So it's gonna be nice, man. Get my popcorn, get my TVs and everything set up, get my laptop, my tablet. It's gonna be all on tomorrow, man. I'm definitely looking forward to this tourney, and I feel like it's going to be a little bit more exciting on the men's side this year. I think still the women's going to be really tough as usual, but I believe this men's competition is going to be just as good this year. So I'm definitely
I think we got 2 good tournaments either way it goes. So definitely looking forward to both of them. And then of course that leads us right into the WNBA season and the playoff push in the NBA and all that good stuff. And of course, can't forget next week, good people, we will be talking baseball. We'll be doing our annual baseball preview to let you know who we think going to handle biz this year in the MLB. Looking forward to that discussion as well.
Yeah, definitely getting ready for the MLB season, man. I want to see who's going to be some of the good guys coming out this year and making an impact. It's going to be pretty fun this year, too, as usual. But we're going to, of course, talk about it. We're going to break down who we think going to be the teams who's going to be the creme de la creme. And we're going to talk about the teams who we think is going to always be at the, dog house of every mansion. They're going to be at the bottom and, they're going to be on the very bottom of the pyramid.
Rockies suck. Quick preview.
They'll never be the same, man. They gave when they were decent with the Troy Tulowitzkis and all the guys that they had, the Trevor Story, they just be quick to get rid of them guys, man, and don't really do nothing afterwards. It's like they had some excitement and just they don't mount up to nothing.
It ain't happening.
It's like they want to be where they're at, unfortunately.
It ain't happening.
You said it ain't happening. Anything else, Edie, you would like to add to the conversation?
Not a smurfing thing. I will do my shout outs first and then let you do yours. I definitely want to, matter of fact, let's do it this way. Shout out to all our people in the Nighthawk Network, not only our broadcasters such as Queen Gemini and Rumble Time, and of course, Road Stardom with Speaking Freely with Miss Gigo, and also with the Indie Experience. And then, of course, shout out to Coach B with Straight Sports Talk with Coach Benson. And, of course, all our affiliates, which includes my cousin, Dr. Marla Facey, and her show, No Weapon Form Shall Prosper, and also her other show entitled, oh, that's bad. Okay. Well, y'all know the other show. I'm sorry. I apologize, cousin. If you're watching, you can throw it in the mix here. Also, shout out to Big Meech and their show, Edition Tea with Big Meech. He will be back on the air consistently once he figures things out at the Donut Factory. So definitely want to give that message. And Aunt Nikki should be back as well. That is the discussion also on their end. And then, of course, as always, shout out to my good buddy from high school to now, Pastor Sean Love, and Pastor Sean Love Presents on Sundays. Check that out as well. And now to my good buddy Hugh, tell you what he got going on that side.
Right. I'd like to say thank you all for supporting our shows. And, like he said, all the people on the Nighthawk Network, I know who you are. He just said your names, Marla, and, Pastor Sean, dishing the tea with my boys, Big Meech Red, and Nikki. Felicia, we call it Gemini, Rumble Time, my homegirl too, Rogue, for all the love and support that she does for us as well. Coach V, definitely loving what he's doing, man. We thought of that concept for the name, and he just took it and ran with it, man. Definitely appreciate and proud of everybody in the Nighthawk Network. And I would like to give shouts out to just everybody who chime in. My sister Harriet, my brother Kevin, my boy Daryl, Greg, my man's Chris, who always showing love. Everybody who good family and friends. And, I usually talk about my networks right now, but y'all already know about the networks, man. You could go to my link tree if you don't know by now. And at the same time, we'll have everything set up next week. So I'll be able to put it on the screen and, read it off to you, let you know what's going on. But for the most part, man, y'all been knocking it out the park, and we appreciate y'all. Thank you. And you're all much appreciated.
All right. So that being said, we could call it a show, good people. Until next Wednesday, well, I'm sure we'll be talking. Well, we definitely gonna be talking baseball, but of course we'll be talking about Sweet 16 and so on and so forth. So until then, good people, as always, remember, don't stress. Be blessed. And if you're going through some things, remember, put this hand with that hand and leave it in the hands of the good Lord to do the rest. It works, I promise you, because it's working for me right now. So until then, we will see you throwing the fingers up, and we in the deuces, baby.
She wears her heart on a silver thread, believing in the words that he said.